Welcome to a new run of Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. I'm going to be playing a Minotaur fighter. Been watching a couple crawl videos lately with Demise, and I'm going to give that a try. I've beaten the game once, and I think using a war axe is probably the easiest way to win. Pretty straightforward. So we'll start out here by throwing out all the other skills and just start walking through. Early on it's pretty straightforward. Just want to see what I have here, check to see if this scale mail is better than what I have. Apparently the fighter starts with scale mail. Early on like this it's a lot of tabbing. Also later on it's a lot of tabbing, so yeah, it's a pretty straightforward game. But pretty satisfying. It's a good game to relax to if you can allow yourself to do that. I've watched friends and a couple other people playing this game get pretty frustrated pretty quickly. It's understandable. It's not the easiest game. It's not exactly straightforward. The learning curve can seem high because the interface isn't straightforward, but you know, that's a roguelike. If you don't like roguelikes, don't play a roguelike. Anyway, so just fighting bats and kobolds and that kind of stuff here. Something I'm still trying to get better at is learning to pull enemies. Positioning is, I've beaten the game one time, not a bunch, but still learning to draw enemies rather than go to enemies. It's a hard habit to break once you've started doing it, but the correct motion for playing this game is you always want to be running away from enemies like that. I can pull them to a stairwell where I know I can be safe, and I can run, and, well, then again with that snake I probably couldn't have run, but you get the point. And, so, enemies that can throw, like that guy can throw rocks, you want to get out of line of sight. Get them into narrow hallways so you can beat them. You'll see me doing it most of this play through. I hope, anyway. Still not perfect at it, but... And if I die, you'll see why. I probably didn't position myself properly. Most of these enemies don't cause much concern. These adders, they can poison you, so that can be a problem, but the Minotaur has pretty good vitality, good strength, to start out with, so chances of dying with poison, unless you've got yourself in a bad spot, are pretty low on just an adder's poison. You can be surprised, though. Sometimes those kobolds, they have blowguns and stuff like that that can catch you off guard. So I have a ring here, evasion, and let me finish these guys first. I want to see what this other ring is. I tend to just equip ID rings early on. A lot of people say that's bad practice, and it probably is. I guess I just don't have the... Okay, here's Ijib. I think he's distortion. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, it looks like draining this time. Anyway, I haven't played this game in a year or two. I think the last time I actually played and beat the game was 0.16. It's a while back. What are we at now? 0.2? 0.19? The game's pretty different now. I mean, I don't recognize a lot of the gods, but either way, these tab characters, like the Minotaur fighter and Berserker and stuff like that, aren't too hard. I just like to get back in the game here. Sorry for the sniffling into the mic here. I kind of have a cold. My plan is to finish the Greaterplayer challenge if I can. I want to start with the easiest characters first and then work my way up to some of the tougher stuff. I've played a little bit of everything. I've only beaten it with, the standard Minotaur configuration. But yeah, these first 3-4 levels of the dungeon can seem kind of slow. And the problem is I tend to get too impatient with games like this in the first few levels. They don't start getting fun until you really have to start thinking about what you're doing. And with a character like this, you don't have to think that much. I mean, watch, I'll die probably in 10 minutes and then I'll change my tune, but you get the point. These are not terribly complicated games. It gets more complicated when, you know, your strategy has to change substantially. But right now, it's not much more than just running into as many enemies as you can. Have you guys ever played Ys? Ys is, it's not the same, but you're just running into enemies. It's kind of the point for this first part here. And understanding a little bit in terms of stats and a couple of other things. And other than that, it's a straightforward game. I like the Minotaur because he naturally just headbutts in retaliation for anybody that hits him. It's not every turn, I think it's some random chance, but it's a significant enough amount that it makes melee a lot safer to do, because if you get yourself in a tight spot, he's automatically doing more damage. Aside from that, if you use an axe has the ability to swing all the way around you. I think it does that for one-handed axes as well as two-handed. What do we have in the store here? Poison needles, a flail, war axe. Nothing here that's worthwhile. Okay. Well, if you train axes all the way up, you can get yourself in a position where even if you're surrounded by enemies, you do damage to 3-4 enemies at a time, and it's just safer. I want to see what I have here in terms of, I just got this blowgun. If I could pick up some poison needles, that might be a good backup just in case. I'm going to go pick up some of those extra needles. Might be good for ranged, although I guess you kind of have to swap out to use those, but I don't know. Never hurts to have them on hand, and I don't count turns. I'm not good enough at the game to do that. There's some gloves. I'm going to need those. Sky Beast is a bit of a concern, although I do want those gloves. I at least want to get him into one space where I know where he is, so in this hallway I can... Uh-oh. No, I'll just risk it. That worked out. Yeah, it probably wasn't the smartest move. I probably should have just gone upstairs. Probably not worth the risk, but like I said, impatience is a bad sign in this game, and sometimes I do not use my best judgment. So it looks like a pack of a couple of guys coming in here. Just drag them into the hallway and dab away. Yeah, orcs can be damned. That guy had a trident, so I want to scoot closer to those guys so that they can't get you from a distance. And another orc here. Get the dog. Dogs usually come in packs, so I wonder if there's more around here that I need to worry about. Get the gloves on. Oh, the temple, good. Let's see if we can clear the rest of the level. Thing in doing Trog, if I pick Trog, he's a pretty straightforward guy, but if I was going to do that, I probably should have just picked Berserker. Okawaru, he gives you a lot of the same benefits, but he gives you, instead of just gifting you weapons when you have really high piety with him, he gives you weapons and armor. So let's find Okawaru and do that. I can remember. Yeah, Okawaru is a pretty reliable way of winning the game. I once had enough runes to win the game, decided to try to go for a longer run, and then I left Okawaru to try to train with TSO, the Shining One, and Okawaru's Wrath actually caught me off guard when I was in the middle of, I think, the crypts, or I don't think I was as far as the tomb, but ultimately I got overwhelmed, and then the Wrath came down, and I ultimately died just because I wasn't prepared properly. I'm going to test ID some of this stuff just so I can open up the inventory and know a little bit what I've got. Amnesia, teleportation. I I've heard they got rid of the teleportation wand, as well as haste and heal wounds. I don't know, man. Seems kind of interesting. Also, on the other hand, the game does seem a bit easier than it used to be. Even with 0.16. I remember it was a feat in the past to get to the Ecumenical Temple. If you got there, it was a mark, you know, and people would dump their stash at the Ecumenical Temple because, you know, it was a safety place, and people would keep stashes there and stuff like that. But I don't really see that happening anymore. I just kind of breeze through it, you know. I don't know if that's because the game is easier, or if I'm a little bit better at it, or what. But some of the changes, you know, I don't know. Here's a Sky Beast again. Invisibility is a concern, so I want to pull him in a place where I could at least know where I'm fighting him. Again, that was probably not the smartest because I pulled him into a corner. I probably should have known to back out of. Here's Chainmail. I think that's going to be better than Scale Mail. 13 for armor, 6 for evasion. What is that, 19? Let's see what it is with the Scale Mail. 11, 8, that's also 19. I don't know, I think the Chainmail will probably be a little better though, because if once I start training armor, right now I'm not doing that, but once I start training armor, probably bring that up. So they're essentially equivalent for the time being, but I think Chainmail has the potential to be a little bit better. I'll just enchant the gloves, the least likely thing to be upgraded here in the near future. And the War Axe, just because that's all I've got right now. It's the weapon I'll enchant for now. And let's find out protection from fire. Okay. Well, I wonder if I should start training armor. Yeah, oh well. We'll just keep moving. Again, if you're thinking too hard, the game might... Oh, yes. Awesome. A broad axe. It's the first two-handed weapon. For now, I don't think I'm going to use it, because I think the min delay on the broad axe is 18. For the war axe, it's 16. And I'm closer to the min delay on the war axe, so I think the damage would be better. Then again, with the shield... I don't know. For now, I'll just keep the war axe, and I'll probably upgrade once I get down to lair. Unless I find something better. Crimson Imp. Get rid of him. And the ants. Ants poison too. But yeah, this game I remember being a lot harder. There used to be, it seems like, more branches. There was like a bees branch. I mean, when I first started playing the game, there were bees. Oh, okay. This is crazy UF. He has distortion. Oh, okay, I got lucky. Just blew right through that. I'm going to hang on to the staff just so that nobody else can pick it up and banish me. I know that's unlikely here, but can't hurt. And finally got a cloak. That's a good thing. But yeah, the game used to... Joseph. I know nothing about this guy. Oh, what the hell. We'll just... get him. That worked out. Again, probably a risk I didn't need to take. But... and the Sky Beast. Well, he's not... I don't think he's following me. I don't see anything. And the slurping noise, that's the sewers? Maybe that's... there's something there. I don't remember. Well, either way. Yeah, they got rid of a ton of branches of this game. They got rid of... like this bees thing that you used to. There was the Hall of Blades. There was a number of other things that made the game kind of overly difficult, and I think even less accessible. So I think they made a lot of good decisions by getting rid of some of the extraneous branches like that and kind of making the game a bit more simple. But I think a lot of people have complained about how easy it's become. I would disagree. I mean, I beat the game one time, like I said. If this were an easy game and you know, I don't play this regularly. I enjoy the game, but it's not something I do every single day and consistently. But, you know, oh, awesome. Okay, here's a glowing war axe. Okay, I don't want to wield ID these because one could be distortion and banish me and just cause problems. And there's a good example, so I guess I could probably just cure the curse, but whatever. Okay, war axe of chopping, that's going to be better than what I've got now. So we'll use that. Like I said, I still can't decide whether to just start using the broad axe or not. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be using shields. So, get rid of the ice beast, a couple more scrolls, and, okay, there's a couple pieces of jewelry I really should figure out, especially this, Rand art. Oh, awesome. Regen plus Slave plus 5, that is a really good amulet. And MR plus, yeah, that's the kind of amulet that you might want to be wearing even at the end of the game. I mean, maybe not, but yeah, definitely want to keep that one. Now that priest can smite target me, but I'm far enough along now that I'm not so worried about a priest and a wizard at the same time. If there was more than one priest or more enemies than that, I may want to try to lose line of sight. So here is TSO, Trog, and Kiku, I don't know his name. And there's a mute potion, you don't want that. And a couple others here. Okay, I'm just going to play down to the lair today. I want to get that far and see what we've got and move on. I don't normally record videos. It's kind of a new experience for me, so I probably sound a bit awkward on a microphone. I'm just not used to narrating what I do. But I find these relaxing to watch, kind of fun to watch these games. And I don't know. I think that's it's a good contribution to, you know, I got nothing. If I'm going to sit here and play a video game, I might as well produce something while I'm doing it. Even if it is yet another crappy Let's Play video on YouTube. But I don't mind. I got nothing to lose. Okay. Now they say sometimes you want to put attributes into your lowest. Like intelligence, if it's below a 6, you run the risk of getting, you know, getting your intelligence reduced in the late game, and it may be wise to increase your intelligence just in preparation for that. That way you don't have an intelligence of 2 and, you know, you don't lose a lot of things because your intelligence is so low, but it's just not worth the risk. Yeah, I don't need any of these spells. It would be so much work to train them to be even usable. So, most spells... I once had a Minotaur I tried to train because repel missiles. I thought repel missiles would be like the one good spell to train, but even that cost and just sucked up so much skill points that it wasn't worth it. It would have been better just putting a shield on and just dealing with it that way. And I think in that playthrough I later found an amulet or something that had deflect missiles like permanently installed in the amulet or something, so I ended up wasting all that experience for something that he wasn't equipped to do. Okay, pull him back. And that was surprisingly painless. One other thing I'm seeing skeletons generally are now showing health bars. They used to not do that. I like the change. I think that helps things substantially. Alright. One more to go. I'm seeing yak. Probably means the layers around here. It's usually around the 10th floor. There's a lot coming on. I may want to try to block them. If I can, I'll just stair pull and heal between. Here we go. Yeah, that works. And now we can go another round, drag another 3 upstairs, and just tab our way through those. Yaks aren't even remotely dangerous at this point of the game. They often are for other characters just because they come in packs, but again, this character is so well equipped to handle large groups of enemies. It's just so newbie friendly. And that's kind of what I am, so we're in good hands here. Jelly. So we've got this taken care of. Now, one thing I need to start considering is how I'm going to deal with some of these. Okay, what's this? Hellhound. I have to assume, considering the context, that these guys are fire based, so let's put on a fire protection from fire ring. That'll probably reduce damage significantly. They don't look that dangerous anyway based on what they're telling me, but yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we're fine there. But there are a couple of enemies in Lair that I'm not so sure how I'm going to deal with them. Normally, you can't rely on getting a firebrand or something to deal with hydras or, anything like that. So I'm not sure what we're going to do at this point. We'll figure it out. One reason I like this game, despite the fact that I get impatient and I fly through it, it really is a thinker's game. If you're going to be successful, you really do have to pause. And the game will teach you that over... pretty sure that's like 5 levels too early, the white ugly thing. Do I have Okawaru's skill set yet? Yes, I have heroism and finesse, although high fail rate on finesse. But we got it. So we have a chance here. Okay, yeah, we got him. Unless there's more. No, we're good. Yeah. You want to use the deity that you have. You want to use their skill set as much as possible and as within reason. In fact, there's no reason not to use it most of the time. Let me put on Boots of Running. Oh, that's awesome. That's going to be really helpful. That's perfect. But yeah, you want to use your deity's skill set as much as you can, even if it costs piety, because you don't often lose that much piety, and it's worth it to use it rather than run any risk of death. So I'm just freeing up a little bit of space here in the inventory. Never been great with managing that. Again, a Book of Conjurations. There's no way I'd be able to train anything for that that would be usable, so we'll just ditch that. Clear the rest of this. Oh, there's a white. This little spot here. I don't want to go downstairs where I've never been. I'll just go upstairs and find another way down to get out of this little zone. And I'm sorry for my voice. I've been sick lately, and my family gets sick a lot. So it kind of spreads around pretty quickly. Alright, let's dive into the lair. Already getting swarmed here. Let's use heroism. Let's see, that spiny frog is making me nervous. We'll be fine. Yeah, we got this. Crocodiles aren't too bad when they're on land. So we should be fine. But, what I was trying to say is, I like this game because this game punishes you mercilessly if you don't think about what you're doing. And that is one of my weaknesses, but that's actually why I kind of like it, because, again, if you're not a thinker, it will force you to be, and that's a good skill to have in life in general. I'm not saying that this is really applicable to life, but it's just a good thing to have reinforced regularly, for one. For two, I find it relaxing because you can get up and walk away from the game at any time. There's no clock ticking for a puzzle most of the time. There's nothing stopping you from thinking about what's going on. There's just no pressure other than the pressure that you might make for yourself in trying to move too quickly. I find that pleasant because, you know, a lot more often than people say, you can get yourself out of trouble in this game if you just take the time to do it. You know, you look at what you have in your inventory and think about what you can use. Often you can get yourself out of most jams. This Amulet of Harm, I was not expecting this. I've never seen this before, so I guess to do drain you? Oh, that's a heavy drain. Well, it's not worth it. That the other amulet was better. See, this is what I get for test IDing jewelry. It's usually a bad idea after you're past, you know, the 5th floor, just because the jewelry gets more and more dangerous. I mean, it's just as dangerous before then, but if you're before the 5th floor, it's not that bad of problem if you just have to re-roll the game or re-roll the character. You can just start over without too much penalty. It's kind of a bonehead move once you get too far into the game. This is random, but one other thing they seem to have changed is potions don't break anymore. I remember they used to do that all the time. Like if you got burned by dragons or frozen by whatever, your potions would pop all the time. It was so frustrating. Gotta say, I'm glad it's gone, but it's certainly one component of the game that makes it less complicated. I think that's what some people are crying about. Again, I disagree. I prefer it not to be there. Alright, let's find the right ring. I think I want Protection of Fire on, and Protection in general, just because that's added armor. Evasion does nothing. Ring of Ice is a bad idea. Flight does nothing unless I evoke it, and I have no evoke. Not much else here. A bunch of un-ID'd potions that I need to try to work around. Let's do a little bit of the lair, and then we will be done for the day. I can get rid of the draining now, the chaos, all that stuff. In the lair, I don't think there are any enemies that can pick those up, so if you're going to dump stuff like this, it's probably a good place to do it. Won't cause any problems for yourself. Oh, I'm so glad we have those boots of running. That's gonna save our backside here probably in the not too distant future. But the magic resistance ring mail, it's not really something I can use. I mean, it's good to have, but it drops the armor class so much that it's just not worth it to have. Oh yeah, I can't wear helmets. We'll just do the first floor here of the lair and see what we can get. Yeah, usually the lair is not too difficult. It's kind of fun hacking through because there's so many packs of enemies. Again, easy to get cocky once you get at this stage because you feel like, you know, you're a little bit more experienced. But, you know, these Komodo dragons, the basilisk, those can all be pretty dangerous. Luckily that drain is a little bit lower, but just want to move through the first Hydra. There's no way I want to try to take one on right now. I have nothing to deal with that. I should have thought about that. Okay, I'm going to teleport out. And I could grab that staff at the entrance. The Staff of Chaos, or I think that's what it is that we got from Yuf. At least that's not a bladed weapon, and it's distortion, so there's a pretty high chance that I'm going to knock him around or banish him. Where is the entrance? Oh, duh. Just hit the key. Okay, let me There it is. Okay, well, I'm just going to grab that here. I'm going to end this for the day. Thanks for tuning in. Like this video if you can, and I will post more, and we'll see how we deal with this Hydra. Thanks.